After several consecutive grant cycles, BrightPath Community Initiative made a notable operational decision: not to increase output, not to expand the number of applications submitted, but to pause. For the first time in an extended period of continuous grant activity, the organization stepped back from production and reviewed the broader pattern behind its funding efforts. That pause became the foundation for a more intentional approach to grant development. Maya Cruz, Program Director, and Leo Santos, Grant Writer, had been operating within a common nonprofit reality: a continuous cycle of opportunity identification, application development, and uncertain outcomes. Following repeated submissions with limited or no feedback, the team made a deliberate decision to reassess their internal process. The objective was not to reduce effort, but to evaluate strategy, specifically how opportunities were being selected, prioritized, and pursued.
We've been treating every available grant as something we should apply for.
But not all opportunities are actually aligned with our work.
This reflection is often where grant burnout begins at an organizational level, not necessarily from overwork alone, but from limited prioritization frameworks in opportunity selection. In practice, many nonprofits default to a high-volume approach, where eligibility is treated as justification to apply. Experienced fund development teams, however, typically begin earlier in the process, with structured screening and alignment assessment. The first adjustment BrightPath implemented was a more deliberate qualification process before proposal development. Instead of beginning with writing, they began with evaluation criteria such as alignment with funder priorities, historical funding behavior, and relevance to program scope and geography. This shifted internal decision-making from possibility-based selection to alignment-based selection.
We moved from asking, "Can we apply?" to asking, "Is this a strategic fit for us?"
The second adjustment involved reducing application volume while increasing intentionality. Rather than pursuing a broad set of opportunities, the organization narrowed its focus to fewer, higher alignment prospects. This change is often counterintuitive for small nonprofits, particularly those operating under funding pressure. However, fund development practice consistently shows that stronger alignment typically improves both efficiency and engagement outcomes.
Initially, it felt like we were doing less, but in practice, we were eliminating work that wasn't yielding returns.
The third shift involved retrospective analysis. Instead of viewing each outcome independently, BrightPath began reviewing historical submission data to identify patterns across funders and proposals. They examined which applications generated responses, which progressed to later stages, and which consistently resulted in no engagement. Over time, this revealed that outcomes were not entirely random. Certain patterns of alignment and structure consistently influenced results. Understanding these patterns allowed for more informed future targeting and proposal development. As the approach became more structured, the internal experience of the team also began to change. The constant pressure to submit applications at volume decreased. Decision-making became more deliberate, and time allocation shifted toward planning and refinement rather than continuous production.
There's more capacity now to actually think through each opportunity,
rather than reacting to every deadline as it appears.
In subsequent cycles, BrightPath submitted fewer applications overall. However, engagement levels improved, response rates increased, and over time, funding outcomes became more aligned with program priorities. This was not the result of increased workload. It was the result of improved targeting and selection discipline. Reducing grant application burnout is not solely about increasing efficiency or writing stronger proposals. It often requires a structural shift in how opportunities are evaluated, prioritized, and pursued. When nonprofits move from volume-based application strategies to alignment-based decision frameworks, the process becomes more sustainable and often more effective. In many cases, the challenge is not a lack of effort. It is the absence of a filtering system that supports strategic focus. Next in the series, what nonprofits learn after they stop chasing every grant.